Hello, I'm Father Joe Gambala, pastor of St. Malachy Catholic Church in Sterling Heights. Welcome to Saints of the Summer. Today is August the 11th, and our saint today is St. Clare. In the high Middle Ages, the late 1100s into the mid-1200s, a new order came about in the church, the Franciscan order founded by St. Francis himself from the town of Assisi. Everyone's very familiar with the story. St. Francis was the son of a cloth dyer, and his father was very wealthy. And Francis has a vision from across. He hears the Lord tell him to rebuild his church. And so Francis first feels that it must be the rundown church outside of town to be rebuilt, and later on realizes it's more than that. It's about preaching the faith and having a revival all over the world as far as they understood that the world went. So Francis founds the order and gets permission from the Pope to go forth and preach. The first order to leave the monasteries and work out among the people themselves, taking a strict oath of poverty. Well, Clare also came from a wealthy family and also lived in Assisi. And she was fascinated by Francis and wanted to follow him in the worst way, and decides to flee her family. Her family did not want Clare to go. She went, and Francis knew that the family would soon be sending troops after her, so took Clare to a Benedictine Convent, because they were the only type of convents around at that time. And Clare goes into the convent. Well, the soldiers don't stop at the convent door. They open the door and march right in to get Clare. Clare prays that the Lord would save her, and a miracle occurs. For whatever reason, Clare suddenly becomes impossible to pick up. The soldiers tried and tried, kind of like Thor's hammer. You know, if you're not worthy, you can't pick it up. And they couldn't pick Clare up because they weren't worthy. And so they gave up. And the family gave up and said, okay, this has got to be God's will. You go ahead and become a nun. Well, Clare did not want to spend her time, the rest of her life, in a convent. She wanted to go out and help bring other women into the new Franciscan order. And Francis eventually gets a order approved of and formed. They're called the Poor Clares. He names it after Clare. And she becomes their superior and is their superior for 40 years, following a strict rule of poverty.